we are a foliage-as-a-service business. So we sell 3-leaf bundles to people all around the country. And just a little bit of context, on my background. I've been developing websites for 10 years. I've lost count of the number of websites I've launched, and my first website was a gangster name generator. So I'm not sure where that falls in line with Plexi, but a little bit kind of different. But so I lived in Dubai for a couple of years, and I'm a New Englander. So when I came back to New England, I just became obsessed with the seasons. It was incredible. I mean, the snow and the foliage just really popped in and captured me. So I figured, why not launch a couple of businesses where I could ship it out to people all around the country. So I came up with the idea for Ship Foliage back when ShipSnowYo.com was launched, and it gained a lot of media attention. So I figured, why not just do another season? Obviously our foliage here is beautiful. So I started really experimenting with the product and the process in August. I realized that the leaves are really dry and brittle, so I had to come up with a preservation method, and I explored a couple different things. So I kind of see myself in a scientist light a little bit. So I put together a website, HTML and CSS, obviously responsive, just to make sure that it loads well for mobile users. And then from October 6th, when the site launched, to the 9th, I launched over 13 different updates to the site. So I quickly iterated and tried to improve it. And so the one interesting thing about the site was how much press it got. I mean, it was a ton of traffic, and I ended up generating a lot of sales from it. So I thought I'd share a little bit more about how I was able to attract the press and launch a viral business. So really, it's all about timing. So you really just need to do a lot of different things at once, but you need to be prepared months in ahead. So kind of looking towards a target and say, I know that the foliage is coming. I know that it's going to be in the news, or I know that the snow is going to be in the news. So kind of preparing yourself in a way that you can position a product against that and launch something that's unique with a clever story behind it. So to really get the momentum behind your products, you have to really just build something unique and do something that's really bold. And a lot of people look to these websites and bring up a lot of legal issues, but you really just need to do your research ahead of time and form an LLC to have a protective layer, and then contact people to get approval. So in this case, I contacted the Mass Department of Agriculture and got cleared for launching this small business. So there's really no direct path, and you really just got to keep trying something new. And iterate on it. And it goes to show how many different types of products I launched, what's successful, and what it just takes a lot of time sometimes. But again, just kind of reverse engineering the news, seeing what's popular out there, and react to it really quickly. And as you can see, there's some really great press coverage there. So thinking through the experience in Dubai, I instantly realized that there's this emotional connection with the fall, and just the different things we have in New England that other parts of the world don't. So it was definitely something I missed, and I was definitely homesick. The product was really positioned in a nostalgic way, so customers could really relive their childhood memories just by receiving a small package as a gift from friends and family. And after launching on October 6th, I had over 450 orders, which resulted in $10,000 in sales. And it's something that my wife and I built together, and she co-founded with me. But it was enough to bring on a couple extra people, helping hands, dealing with some social media and things like that. 75,000 visitors later, and 11,000 plays on our video. We're here. So, leading to my next news is tomorrow. I'm actually launching 2 new products. So I own ShipSnowYo, where I ship snow to people all across the country. And I have a snowman in a box kit and a white Christmas package, which will arrive on Christmas Eve and guarantee snow to anyone in the country, even Alaska or Honolulu, for Christmas Day. And that's shipped via a network of shippers across the country. And then ShipColio.com, which is kind of along the lines of Ship Your Enemy's Glitter, where you can ship someone a naughty, filthy sack of coal. And it's positioned as a human product, so you can ship it to your enemy's ex or boss. Questions?
You did the snow business last year.
I did, yes. That's the snow business.
What are you going to do if it doesn't snow?
Well, I have a network of shippers, so kind of diversifying. I've got some people in California, Colorado, and Vermont that will travel up to the mountains for me.
Okay. Do you have any plans for the spring?
No plans for spring. Plan on some. There are some legal constraints with sand, which was an awesome summer product, but it's just one of those things where I might want to take it off.
Black flies.
Black flies. Is that from the Ipswich or something? Or green heads?
It seems like a very labor-intensive process. Where do you find the labor to gather all the leaves and assemble them?
It's really my wife and I going out to collect leaves. We're hiking enthusiasts already, so we just like going out there with our dogs just to get out in nature. So it wasn't really, a ton of time for collecting. It was really the preservation process, which took about a week to get a leaf fully preserved. And that was really factored into the pricing. So a lot of people came back and said, 3 leaves for $19.99, that's a ton of money. But at the end of the day, it was really our time that was bogged down with the process, and it's something that we optimized, going through the season. But it was a lot of experimentation and just trying to figure out what works.
So do you have to get any permission to pick up leaves from anywhere?
Kind of. I mean, you really just have to do your own research. So I, spoke with the Mass Department of Agriculture, which referred me to, the top states that I would be sending it to, which is California, Florida, and Texas. So I spoke with their Department of Agriculture based on the quantity that I was sending and the process, which I also include a little bit of ammonia, just to make sure that there's no bugs or potential mold that could be transmitted across state lines. They weren't really too concerned with it. They were, giving the white green pass.
What are your preferred species, or is that proprietary?
So in terms of species for the leaves themselves, yeah, it's I really just kind of focus on maple leaves right now because it's really the prototypical foliage that you think of when you think of foliage, and it was the first that turned. So I was able to experiment with that a lot, and the oak leaves and stuff didn't really come out that well. Yep.
So what was it exactly that attracted all that media attention, or what actions did you take?
So through the snow company that I launched earlier this year, I launched that kind of realizing that there's a ton of snow in the media, and obviously it was a historic year for us in Boston. It was incredible. So I kind of leveraged that to get a lot of attention for that product, and then I got a lot of writers and people in the media to look to my Twitter account, or I went to a lot of different networking events like this to kind of build my reputation a little bit. So I leveraged that kind of going into this product, and then I tried to soft launch it with a tweet from Boston Tweet, and that didn't go so well because within hours it was on Boston.com and tons of other websites, so it wasn't very soft. Yep.
Do you ship yellow snow to your enemies?
I do not ship yellow snow yet. So I shipped 700 pounds. I did 5 figures in gross sales, but the profit margins were a lot lower because of the shipping costs. I had to ship the snow in thick packaging overnight, and it was between 8 and 12 pounds of snow, so it's not very light. All right.
With UPS and DH, people who get the carrier, they say anything to you?
So FedEx is fully endorsing both my products. So they actually wrote great blog posts and recommended for Thanksgiving packages, which is awesome. And I pretty much exclusively ship with FedEx for my snow product and USPS for my foliage.
Are you collecting leaves to ship year-round, or is it only during the fall?
It's only during the fall, so sales will close shortly after Thanksgiving. But right now, I don't have the 3-leaf bundle because I qualify those as grade A leaves. So I've got a slightly lower grade of leaves available for a little bit less money, just because it's not peak season anymore, and the leaves are kind of not looking as great. All right, one last one.
Do you have any issues with anyone not getting snow and it just being completely melted and having water?
No, just because it like the way that that I've kind of built products, the snow containers will last for 7 days, and if I'm shipping it overnight within that 24-hour window, it's guaranteed to be snow, and it lasts for a long time unless you take it out and play with it or heat it up. So. All right.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Thanks.